Hi, welcome to Demo Garage. I'm Steven, and in today's episode I'm going to be working on this package tray. So come along and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so I'm in the middle of the wiring harness replacement, and I was told that I should, since I had to remove the rear glass, to take this opportunity and replace the fuel tank since I've got a new tank. And I've been hemming and hawing over it, and I haven't quite decided if I'm going to do that yet. But one of the things I am going to do with this glass out is replace these stupid boards. So there's a fiberglass piece that fits over here, and it's got some carpet and some trim on it, and it's supported by these stupid pieces of wood that I guess it's original. I'm not sure. It just kind of sits. Look at this. It's so bad. It kind of sits on this shelf here, and then there's a little bit of fiberglass down here that it used to attach to, and there were only two of them, and they didn't span this gap very well. And what sits on top of it, let's see if I can put this other one in place. Let's see, it goes like right here. There's another shelf. Anyway, that's not quite right, but yeah, that's a big span. Anyway, I'm going to do something better. I'm going to fiberglass on an angle piece on this side and on this side. And then I'm going to replace these two boards with, I don't know, a piece of composite or plywood or anything would be better, would be supporting much better than what I currently have. And I was able to purchase this fiberglass piece of angle. It's 1/4 inch thick, and it looks like it's, what does that say? 2 by 2. So I might not have, I think the side that attaches to the car, I'm going to leave full size, and then I'll probably cut this in half. I don't think it needs to be quite 2 inches wide. And so I'm probably going to drill a bunch of holes in it to allow the thickened epoxy to adhere better. This is a composite fiberglass piece, even though it's gray. And yeah, so that's the plan. I'll have approximately 2 feet on one side, 2 feet on the other. And that's going to be a much stronger, more secure way of supporting the shelf above the fuel tank. So let me bring you back when I've got a little bit more to share. Okay, here's another short project. I'm doing away with the 2 wood supports that would, I guess, be supporting this package tray, although I'm not sure how much good it actually does. So the plan is to reinforce this a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and, I guess, give this a sanding down to bare fiberglass, and then I'm gonna add, I'm thinking 2 layers of matte fiberglass to this, just to strengthen it up somewhat. Like I said, there were 2 pieces of wood that spanned this completely and nothing else from what I can tell. So I figure what I'm doing is going to be better than what the factory did, or I'm not sure, I guess that's factory. And just a little bit of additional strength couldn't hurt anybody. So I'm going to do some sanding, and I'll bring you back when I've got the glass cut and I'm ready to go ahead and apply the resin. So I'll bring you back. All right, been through a bunch of sandpaper, but this is about as clean as I'm planning on getting this surface. I don't care if I encapsulate some of this gunk. It's pretty clean. I'm gonna prep it, wipe it down, you know, blow dry it, cut up some glass sheet, and then yeah. So I'll probably just take care of this and then bring it back after I've got the 2 new layers applied. So hopefully it'll go smoothly and won't have any issues, but I'll let you know. Okay, so this is the last clip of the night. I'm sure this will set up well. I'll trim it flush to the original trim piece. Pretty happy with the way that went. That was a lot of work. I have to estimate the thickness increase. It was 4 or 5 containers of catalyzed resin, and then I used the fin rollers to get all the air bubbles out, and it went pretty well. Did take 3 times longer than I expected, but that's how these things go. So I'll bring you back in the morning when I got something more to show you. Thanks. All right, well that looks proper. I've already picked it up once. The glass is set up nice. It feels supremely stiffer and stronger, and I probably should have weighed it ahead of time to see how much heavier it is. But I don't have a problem trading a little bit of weight for this level of stiffness and strength. So the next thing I'm going to do on this one is trim the edges, and I'll bring it back after I've done that. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is on this project is to actually do a better job in the supports that are going to cover this package tray area. I guess I'll call it package tray area. I've made these fiberglass pieces up earlier. I'm sure I've shown a clip of that. And now that I have the charcoal filter in as far as I'm going to, it's now, my thought is to go ahead and figure out where these guys go, cut this back, clean up the fiberglass, prep these a little bit more, and I'm thinking I'm going to do 2 short ones here and here, and then the long one on this side, which I'll show you later. But I think also I'm going to go full width on the face that gets thickened, epoxied to that face. But I think I'm going to cut this one back. I don't know that it needs to stick out that far. And to tell you the truth, this is less than 90 degrees. So this end sticks up a little high unless I shim it out from the face like that, and I don't want to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is just shorten this a bit, and then maybe add, I don't know, some foam pad or something like that to kind of cushion it. But if that face is shorter, then the angle is less apparent. But yeah, so the next thing on this project is to figure out exactly where I want to do that, and I'll probably use straight edges coming off of these surfaces to kind of figure out where that needs to go. Okay, I'm getting my drift one-handed. So yeah, I'll figure out where that needs to go and start cutting this back and prepping the fiberglass. So I'll bring you back when I got something to show you. Thanks. Okay, here's the next step. This, what I call, I don't know, horsehair or whatever it is the insulation that had been previously glued to the back side in the underside, and it's all stripped off now. I have trimmed the excess fiberglass off the edges, and I've determined that the original thickness was basically, I don't know, 0.1, 0.11. It varied a little bit, and I've added an additional 90 thou to it, so almost doubling the thickness, and I think that looks pretty good. So I've done a light sanding on this edge, and I just showed you I removed the last bits of the horsehair on this face. So I'm going to be installing this new sound deadening material. It's thinner, but this car is never going to be a quiet vehicle, and I kind of like the sounds it makes. So I am going to do at least one layer, maybe 2 layers of that on these 2 surfaces. It's a new product. I never tried it before. Just some Amazon stuff I found. I'm going to try gluing these faces back over, and then I think I'm going to call this aspect of the package tray done after that. I'll bring you back after I've got that material adhered. It's got a adhesive back to it, so I'm guessing it's going to be a matter of just some arts and crafts, trimming it in place, laying it down smoothly, trimming it to fit, and yeah. So we'll see what that looks like when I'm done. I'll bring you back. Okay, so here's the package tray with the sound deadening applied, and I'm pretty impressed with the adhesion quality on it. Didn't mess it up, not even once. I was able to cover the whole package tray in 2 pieces. Comes with this seam tape. I don't know what's going on with my neighbor's dog. Just started yapping, but anyway, I'm pretty pleased with this, how this turned out. And used some contact cement on a few pieces of the vinyl that we're sticking up. Could stand a little bit of cleanup, but I think this is about all I'm going to do on this piece. And I'm currently working on the supports for it, so let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so I've got the 2 locations cleaned up. I've got the sound deadening material removed, cleaned up. I've got the 2 pieces cut short. I don't know if you can see that, but I've actually just taped the scrap piece to itself as a spacer because it's pretty close to what I need. When this is, I don't know if you can see this, but these 2 pieces are going to lay flat on here, and then this is the piece that's going to be thickened epoxied in to one of these 2. I'll do one at a time until they set up, but the flat surface under both of those will lay across this edge and help me get the right alignment as these 2 set up. We'll do one at a time. But like I said, I've got a spacer there to compensate for the thickness of that guy. And I think this is going to work out pretty good. So the next step is to mix up some vinyl ester resin. I'll coat both this surface and this surface, and then I'll let that soak in. I'll thicken the rest, make kind of a peanut butter consistency, put that in place, and then I'll use the straight edges to help me for alignment, and I'll just kind of stick around for 10 minutes while it sets up, making sure it doesn't slip. It's in the right place, and then I'll do the same for the other side. So let me go ahead and get that done, and I'll bring it back when those are adhered. All right, thanks. Okay, so here's here's what this janky setup looks like. I've got a couple of the angle pieces set across the top of the package tray, and it's setting the height. And then I've got an additional shim on top of this one, and you can see it's all clamped. This was done last night. I've got weight on it so it doesn't move around. This side is done and the shim has been removed. So I wanted to have a quick clip of what the setup looked like so I wasn't standing here for forever while that dried. Anyway, I'm going to pull this down and then I'll just have the larger one to do up underneath the tail there, and this project will be done. So I'll bring it back when I got something to show you. Thanks. Okay, so I'm ready to epoxy thickened resin in the back support for the package tray. This is the surface that's going to be touching the original fiberglass material, the back of the TVR. And I've got double back taped the shim that's going to take into account the thickness of the removable actual package tray. And I've got holes cut in it here to allow the epoxy to squeeze in, and I don't know, maybe that'll do something if it'll coat kind of this surface and mushroom. And I've got the back, the sound deadening material removed and cleaned up and sanded back to original. I am going to have to put a couple of holes in it. I don't think it's going to be a big deal for the wires for the license plate and the ground. And then I've got this crazy attachment to help me set. This is what I did previously. Added some weight. I'm using the flat surface of this to help me position the back support, and that's again taking into account the shim thickness that I showed you. So yeah, I'll coat the surface and the angle piece with some unthickened, and then I'll thicken it up, and then I will spoon it on like peanut butter, set it up, and I'll bring it back when I've got it all in a place where it's going to harden in hopefully a good position. So I'll bring it back when I got something to show you. Okay, so the rear support is fully cured, and I think it looks pretty good. I've drilled a couple of holes here and there to allow the wiring to go through, and I've used some pretty aggressive RV style tape to secure the wiring so it doesn't get caught up with this new package tray install. And I will admit to trying to fit this off camera, and I'm glad I did, because it didn't fit. Shocker, right? But it didn't fit from before the time that I purchased it. I had completely forgotten that this forward edge was riding, back here, and it was just getting caught up underneath this edge, and the hump was too high to be shoved all the way back. I had forgotten that. So what I did was I pulled the original vinyl off of the fiberglass back, and then I marked and I trimmed twice for a total of about 2 inches of fiberglass and foam removed. And then I was able to curl the original vinyl back over and tape it, and I think it looks pretty good. I used some of that same silver tape as I did. This is the sound deadening material, and then this is the original vinyl glued over the edge onto the raw fiberglass. And then I used some of this tape that came with the sound deadening material. And I think that turned out real nice. And I think I got a pretty fair curve. I think it's actually better than what was there from the factory. It was kind of jagged, janky. Anyway, let me set the camera down and I'll put it in place and I'll show you what the final result looks like. Okay, that's what she looks like installed. I don't know, some of you are probably wondering what this hole was for, but that's where the wiring comes through and that's where the factory did it, so I kept that. And I think it looks pretty good. I've got side pieces that never fit because it wasn't pushed all the way back. So I'm excited to try and see if those fit. But where they would screw in here on the side, the wood blocks have come unglued from the raw fiberglass. But I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to call that a win, and I'm going to call that the end to this video. So I want to thank you for joining me at Demo Garage, and I hope you learned something. I know I did, and I look forward to bringing you another video in the near future. Thanks. Bye. Okay, so maybe this project isn't completely done. Got a little bonus footage here. I'm really happy with the way this package tray fits, but it does appear that my modification has allowed it to change position. And I say that because I've got the carpet kind of back where it's supposed to be, but you can see now the carpet ends, I don't know, what is that, 3 inches too short. So that lets me believe that the package tray now fits further back, which I believe it does, but that still doesn't quite explain why these side panels don't fit. I don't know if I'm assuming they're original. I think they had a speaker in them at one time. Just a piece of fiberglass. I know how to make that. And but they're like first off, they don't go far enough back. So when I have these kind of in position at the wheel well, they're, I don't know, 1.5 inches space behind it. Let's see, maybe a little further on this side. Anyway, and then they appear too tall. Like I need to cut 1 inch or 2 out of these guys. So I don't know if I'm gonna remake these or modify these or recover them, but I'm gonna do something. And then this carpet is awful. I've thrown some dye on it, it's fallen apart. It's again got this horsehair stuff on it that leaves a mess and it's awful. So I may go to the store and see if I can find a piece of carpet that I like, and maybe I'll try putting a vinyl binding on it. I may try and just remake this part, call it good for now. But anyway, bonus footage. I thought this package tray was completely done, but to get these trim pieces to fit, I'm gonna have to modify them, make them longer in the back and shorter, make them not quite as tall this direction. Anyway, projects are never done, but every step gets me a little closer. But thanks again for watching Demo Garage, and I'll bring you back with another video soon. Bye.